Today I'll be discussing about two kinds of verbs, finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs. Finite verbs are the verbs which have a subject and they show tense. That means, in simple words, finite verbs are the verbs which change according to the change in the tense or according to the change in the person. For example, the thief escaped. Escaped is a past tense of the verb escape. Sarah is crying with joy. Is the present form. If I have to use it in past tense, I would say Sarah was crying with joy. So the verbs that change according to the change in the tense or the change in the person, like first person, second or third person, they are known as finite verbs. Some more examples. Finite verbs change. For example, I go. Now, when I am talking about a singular subject, she, I would use goes. Go will change to goes. So, it is a finite verb because it is changing. And when I have to use the past tense, I would say go will change to went. She went. He walks home. This is present tense. And when I have to talk about the past tense, I would say he walked home. So, the verbs that change are known as finite verbs. Then we have non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are the verbs that do not change. Finite verbs change, non-finite verbs do not change according to the change in the tense or the subject. I want to go to school. Hangama wants to go to school. They wanted to go to school. Now, what is common in these sentences? To go. To go has not changed even when the tense is changing or even when the subject is changing. So, these are non-finite verbs which do not change. Non-finite verbs are of three types: gerund, participle, infinitives. Once again, finite verbs are the verbs which change. Non-finite verbs are the verbs which do not change. They remain the same. Now, non-finite verbs are of three types: gerunds, participles, infinitives. Gerunds. Gerund is a verb in its ing form, just like in continuous forms of verbs. So, gerunds are the verbs with ing. For example, raining, dancing, laughing, thinking, creating. They are activities, whether they are physical or mental. They function as nouns in sentences. So, you have to remember gerunds are ing form of verbs, and secondly, they act as nouns, not as verbs. They don't act as actions, they act as names of things, names of activities. Breathing is necessary. What is the name of an activity that is necessary? Breathing. So, breathing is a gerund. Helping other people feels good. What feels good? What is the name of the thing that makes you feel good, that makes people feel good? Helping. So, names of activities ending in ing, acting as nouns. These are gerund. They don't act as verbs, they act as nouns. Now, let's see the difference between two sentences. Running is my favorite form of exercise. We are running. Now, if you can see carefully, in the first sentence, running is a kind of an activity that has been used. Which is my favorite kind of exercise? What is the name of that exercise? Running. So, here it is acting as a name. We like running. What do we like? What is the name of the thing that we like? Running. Here, running acts as noun. So, it is a gerund. In the second sentence, we are running. What are we doing? Running. So, here, running acts as a verb. So, when something acts as a verb, it is not a gerund because gerunds function as nouns. Infinitives. Infinitive is the base form of verb. First of all, base form means first form of verb, and infinitives always begin with to. So, the rule for an infinitive is to plus first form of verb, like to go, to ask, to fight, to walk. So, to plus first form of verb is an infinitive. Some examples of infinitives. No one wants to stay. To stay is infinitive. To leave now would be rude. To leave is an infinitive. Now, infinitives can come as objects in a sentence, just like in the first sentence, to stay. Infinitives can come as subjects in a sentence, just like to leave. Now would be rude. What would be rude? To leave. So, infinitives can come towards the end of a sentence or in the beginning as subjects. And infinitives include to plus first form of verb. Now, there is something called bare infinitives, also known as zero infinitives. Zero infinitives mean infinitives, that means first form of verb without to. And how do you detect zero infinitives? First of all, one major way of detecting it is that they come after modal verbs like will, shall, should, could, all the modals. So whenever there is a modal, after that, whichever first form of verb comes, that is an infinitive. For example, my sister could play the piano. Could is a modal and the verb after could is play. So play is a zero infinitive without to. You must get up. Must is a modal. Get up is the first form of verb. It is a zero infinitive without to and it has come after the modal must. Secondly, a bare infinitives also come after certain verbs like hear, see, make, let. I saw her fall. So saw is a form of a see, just like it is mentioned in the brackets above. And what is the verb after see? Fall. Fall is the zero infinitive. And one major and easy way or a clue of detecting zero infinitive or finding a bare infinitive in a sentence is one common rule, that is, whenever I ask you to identify a bare infinitive, the rule that you need to follow is main verb plus object plus bare infinitive. So first in a sentence you will find a main verb. After that there will be an object. That means the receiver of that main verb. And then whichever first form of verb comes, that would be a bare infinitive. If you see the sentence again carefully, he saw her fall from the cliff. What is the main action verb here? Saw. What did he see? Her. Her is the object. And which is the first form of verb after her? Fall. Fall would be a bare infinitive, an infinitive without to. She made her kids tidy their beds. Made is a verb, main verb. What is the object? Her. And what is the main infinitive or the first form of verb after her? Tidy. So, the rule for detecting bare infinitive in a sentence is main verb plus object and then whichever first form of verb comes, that would be a bare infinitive. And otherwise, normal infinitives are to plus first form of verb. Then participles. What are participles? This is the third form of non-finite verbs. Participle is an adjective made out of verbs. Just like gerunds act as nouns, participles act as adjectives in sentences majorly. Sometimes as verbs also, but majorly as adjectives. Gerunds always end in ing, but participles can end in ing, ed, en. That means participles, just like gerunds, can sometimes end in ing, and participles also end in third form of verb. And in third form of verb, verbs usually end with ed or en. Participles always act as adjectives to modify nouns or pronouns. Adjectives always describe nouns and pronouns, right? So adjectives, when participles act as adjectives, they give more information or they describe noun or pronoun in a sentence. Participle might be by itself or it might join other words to make participle phrase. Now participle can be one word also or it might join other words sometimes. Now types of participles, you have present, past and perfect participle. Present participle is ing form of verb, past participle is third form of verb and perfect participle is having plus third form of verb such as having walked, having danced, having eaten. So perfect participle would be having plus third form of verb. Present participle would be ing verb just like gerund and past participle would be third form of verb. Present participle and gerunds. Now see both these present participles also and gerunds both end in ing. Now how do you differentiate between both of them? Let's see an example. Walking rather than running is much better for recovering athletes. Now here, what two activities are better for recovering athletes? Walking and running. Here walking and running act as names of activities. So walking and running would be gerunds. And recovering would be a participle because here recovering is acting as an adjective. What kind of athletes? Recovering athletes. Recovering means somebody who's getting better. So, or getting well. So, recovering athletes. What kind of athletes? Recovering. Recovering here is acting as an adjective. It is telling us more about athletes. So, recovering here would be a participle and walking and running act as names of activities. So, they would be gerunds. Now, Let's see some more examples. A present participle is a word that ends in ing. It is formed from a verb. It is used as an adjective or for verb tense. So one major difference is present participle, that means ing form, that would act as an adjective in a sentence or sometimes as a verb. But gerunds will never act as verbs or adjectives. They will always act as names of activities. The fleeing criminal. What kind of criminal? Fleeing. Here, fleeing is acting. It is describing the noun criminal. So, it is acting as an adjective. So, fleeing is a participle. He was waving his cutlass. What was he waving? Cutlass. So, here, waving is acting as a verb, not as a noun. So, both these ing form of verbs here are participles. Gerunds act as nouns and participles act as verbs, or they act as adjectives. I hope you people have understood the difference between participles and gerunds. Kindly go through this video once again to have a better clarity and understanding. Thank you.